Hey, Royce, what's up?
Hey, John. Happy late Father's Day.
Thank you so much, man. I'm really grateful. Appreciate you. What's up?
Absolutely. Hey, so I don't know if I have a succinct question, but I just feel like I really need some advice. My family owns and runs a small company, a small corporation, and my dad and my uncles own it. My brother and I and my cousin are working our way up the ladder. Needless to say, between my extended family and my immediate family, which is my wife and my children, I spend a lot of time working and collaborating with my extended family at work. And sometimes, boundaries become really, really difficult to hold and respect with my extended family because I run into, issues of being able to, that balance of like, am I going to be able to provide for my family by doing my work, which I'm in sales, so it's stressful enough. But like being able to provide and collaborate with my extended family, who are also my coworkers, holding those boundaries with them, but not so harshly that it inhibits my ability to work. And also at the same time, being that rock and that foundation and the protector of the boundaries of my family's time, space, everything. And, like when you spend enough time together with your extended family, they're gonna poke and prod at your boundaries. And I think I feel like I walk a tightrope and it's really stressful on me. And I feel a lot of guilt in letting my family down when I let something like, get swept under the rug that probably maybe shouldn't. And then I also feel like I can't provide when I hold a firm boundary and it's maybe offensive to my extended family. And then I can't talk to them at work, or they don't really I'm not able to collaborate and work and provide. And it's hard. It's really hard on me, and I'm not entirely sure what to do because my job is wonderful. And my family is wonderful, and I love them both, but balancing the two is very stressful on me, and I wish I was stronger.
How much do you make at your job, Royce? What's your annual salary?
Before taxes?
Yeah.
About $120,000 to $130,000.
How old are you?
36.
Okay.
I know that if I continue down this path, that I will make substantially more owning and running the company. And there's a lot of good perks to my job, that I get a lot of PTO as much as I see fit.
Hey,
that
Royce.
allows me to spend a lot of time.
Hey, Royce, your job is killing you. It's killing you. And it's starting to sever the most important artery you have, which is your family. And I don't think this is about you being weak or not being strong enough. It's about being sent up to bat in a baseball game, and all they'll hand you is a branch they took off a tree. You can swing as perfectly as you want and hit the ball square, but if it's just a weak little branch, the ball's not going to go anywhere. Family business has to be well thought out, not in the war room, but around the table. Here's who we're going to be at home. No one's allowed to talk about business at home. And here's who we're going to be in the office. In the office, I'm not calling you Dad. I'm not calling you Uncle. I'm calling you Dan. I'm calling you Bill. I'm calling you Susan. Just like you would if we were coworkers, because we got a job to do. Then we get home, we'll circle back, and we'll let our guard down. We'll be silly. We'll be goofy again. And it's very hard.
Yeah.
If you don't have that kind of boundary, and if your family won't participate in that kind of boundary, I'm telling you right now, it's not going to work. You're not going to have much of a company left to run, because it will eat itself.
And I think the reason why it's still running is because my family does not, they sweep a lot of stuff under the rug. a lot of these things that normally would be addressed, they
Like
don't.
what? Tell me what.
Any type of boundary, social boundary, is not brought up.
Tell me
at work.
specifically. You're using very general words like boundaries and social. Like, tell me specifically, what are they doing? Something happened that you picked up the phone and called. What happened?
I have some family members that have hurt my wife, and we've had conversations about it and sat down and held those boundaries firm.
How'd they hurt your wife? How'd they hurt your wife?
Talking unkindly to her and making her feel isolated. And, it's one of those things where they're making, in certain instances, they would make her feel like she's not part of the family. And we would address it, and then it would be, difficult to talk at work for months. And I feared, that got in the way of work. And
Royce, take your parents out of this or family out of this. If you worked at a place that was disrespectful of your wife and spoke poorly of your wife or to your wife in your presence, what would you do?
I'd tell them to stop. I'm going to leave.
You would leave. Just like I would. I'd walk out the door. I don't care what the future earning potential is. I don't want to be at a place that disrespects my wife. And just because you're my dad or my uncle or my cousin, that doesn't give you like some sort of extra cushion to talk bad about my wife or to make it an unhospitable place for her to reside. And if I'm your wife, Royce, I'm looking at you and saying, like, what am I worth? I think the thing you've got to wrestle with is grief here. Because I don't think you would want to, why would you want to even run this company? I wouldn't want to run a company that swept everything under the rug and everyone kind of thought they could say whatever they wanted to say and treat people however crappy they want to treat them just because we're family. It should be the opposite of that.
I guess I feel like I can change it.
You can't, are you?
I mean, I'm not running the company right now, so I can't change things, but I can try to hold boundaries and encourage others to do the same. I don't know. And maybe I'm in denial.
I think you are. I mean, how do you know you're going to be running this company?
We've been told it,
Who's we?
By my brother and I. We're the only ones that are putting enough effort in, and we've been, not clearly and succinctly on paper told, but, we're the only ones that are bearing a large weight of operations of the company. And, the talking around the table at the office always revolves around, how this is going to go, and in the future that we're going to be, taking the reins at some point.
How old is the leader of this company?
My uncle is 68, 69.
How old's the next few rows of leaders?
There's a couple of years between each one of them. There's my oldest uncle, my dad, and the youngest uncle, and each one of them's, maybe a couple of years between them. They're all in their mid to late 60s.
Here's my heartbreak, brother. Like, my heart's breaking for you. The kind of people who will talk bad about their nephew's wife or ostracize and split up family members or not listen to boundaries. Now, I'm not talking about obnoxious, like what I would call like wimpy, like you can't be, like not that kind of stuff. I don't go to work until 8:00 on Tuesday. Like, not that. That's not talking about boundaries. I'm talking about like, hey, you don't talk about my wife. That kind of boundary. You know what I mean? They also are of a character that someone's going to swoop in and be like, dude, I'll give you $2 million for that business right now. and you've got nothing in writing, you got a bunch of dudes him-hawing around a table. You have no guarantee, you have no satisfaction, and the chances of you waking up and being 45 and them selling this out from underneath you is very high. You know how I know? Because I deal with this every day of my life.
I guess I'm putting a lot of trust into them not doing that.
I know, but those are the same guys who won't listen to you when you say, please stop talking about my wife like that, who, if you do draw a boundary, they act like 6-year-olds and just ignore you? Are we 12? What are we doing here? You know what I mean? Like, let's block him.
Yeah.
Except they don't have social media, right? So they're blocking you in person. Let's just don't talk to him. Yeah. He's not going to tell us we can't talk to him. That kind of immaturity doesn't lend itself to handshake deals down the road. And my fear is you're going to have squashed yourself for so long, and you're going to squash an untapped earning potential. Like, you're clearly a good salesman, and you're clearly good at navigating. But if I'm your wife, I'm going to go, how long? How long?
That's what she says.
How long? How long am I going to be second place or third place? And this comes up in family business a lot, is that it's just like nobody ever questions that I'm not going to take over this business, and nobody ever questions that, well, I'm not going to be next in line. And I've seen firsthand how one older brother's like, no, we're doing this now. And it just happens. And the other brothers are not interested. It just happens. An entire generation's like, wait, what? And it's gone. It's gone. I think it would be worth you having quiet conversations with other people in the area on particular sales jobs just to test the waters. It's not undercutting. It's not. You're just acting like an employee, and that's all you are right now. They don't have a succession plan. Dude, our 2 presidential candidates are about to be in their 80s, dude. This could go on another 15 years.
Yeah. I guess I'm just really scared to jump off a ladder that I'm so high on already.
I know, but that ladder's an illusion, dude. It's wobbly. Or you're gonna look down at your wife and she's gonna be gone. Because at some point, wives get tired of being second place.
Yeah.
I just cut you off. You're about to ask something. What are you going to say?
No, you're fine. So do I.
Here's the deal. If your dad was a person, he would be the one I talk to, because somebody in this group is not mature. But if somebody
it's their spouses that are not treating my wife kindly, and we keep them at arm's length so that I can still deal with them in business. But getting together with family occasion stuff is really hard.
Okay.
And it's always, we found like healthy, in air quotes, happy medium of, we don't do much with them outside of work. And my siblings and I, specific siblings, are able to at least talk at work. But when it comes to stuff where it's like Christmas, family gatherings and stuff like that, they want us to be there. The whole family wants us to be there, and it's always really stressful and it's really hard on us. And something always comes up between, their spouses and my wife, and it's always really hard. Like, social stuff is always really hard.
And with family business, unfortunately, it's all wound together.
Exactly.
And so at the end of the day, you have a choice to make. I think you're selling yourself short on the open market. If this is all you've known for a long time, I think you're selling yourself short. I think sitting down and having cups of coffee with some friends, or maybe one person removed, or somebody who's a lead salesman on a particular product. I don't know. A buddy of mine just got a job selling conveyor belts, man, and he's an amazing guy of high character, and he's great sales. It never even occurred to me that someone sells conveyor belts. If you can sell, you can do any job. You can work anywhere on the planet if you're a salesman. But I think you're selling yourself short. Because if you've got the chops to run this business, you've got the chops to run the neighboring business and another business and another business and another business. And the time you put in on this business is not wasted. But family business is messy unless everybody's super clear and super compassionate and super kind. And if 3 wives want to just make it their life's mission to destroy your wife's life, then you have a choice to make. Sorry, honey, suck it up. Look how high I am on this ladder. Or, dude, I'm out. I love you guys. We're going to come to Christmas. By the way, Christmas might still be miserable, but maybe you won't have to see everybody on Monday through Friday. My dream would be that you could sit down with your dad and say, Dad, I'm about to walk. I'm about to be out. I've got nothing in writing. I'm a few years away from being 40. I got no guarantees. I got nothing in writing. We have no succession plan. And we can't come to family functions because my aunts or my cousins keep beating up on my wife. I just can't have it, Dad. I'm about to walk out the door. You can't walk. I can. You raised me to be a tough, independent man. I can walk. I need some security. I need some help with these boundaries. Or I'm going to have to protect my family and go somewhere else. And I know it's unpleasant. I know it's scary. But man, at some point, your wife's, you said it. She's going to keep asking you, how long am I going to be second? How long am I going to be second? I'm telling you right now, she's not going to ask that question forever. You're just going to find yourself out by yourself. So it's time to make a move at some point. Sit down with your dad, begin making an exit strategy, or tell your wife, honey, this is just going to be the way this is. And every year it's going to be awkward for a few months, and then we're going to go about our lives. And it's going to be worth it in the long run because maybe one day, hopefully, these 3 guys that we don't really care about or care for are going to like hand me and my brother this job in a perfect transition. Whew. That sounds scary. Holler and let me know what you do, brother.